What's up, man? It's July 31st, 2017, you know, and we're gonna be going to the M-13. The gangster gang.
Right, it's MS-13.
I meant MS. Those are my initials, man, so I know.
You down with it, dude?
You said dude. You think they say dude? I don't think they say dude.
Chico!
Chica! Mi amigo! Hermano!
It's hard to believe. I grew up on Long Island. I didn't know about this. And then all of a sudden, this is like a new phenomena. Our hearts and our nation grieve for the victims and their families. Since January 16, think of this. MS-13 gang members have brutally murdered 17 beautiful young lives in this area on Long Island alone. Think of it. They butchered those little girls. They kidnap, they extort, they rape and they rob. They prey on children. They shouldn't be here. They stomp on their victims. They beat them with clubs. They slash them with machetes. And they stab them with knives.
And why?
They have transformed peaceful parks and beautiful, quiet neighborhoods.
It's their motto.
Into blood-stained killing fields.
Kill, rape, and conquer.
They're animals. We cannot tolerate, as a society, the spilling of innocent, young, wonderful, vibrant people. Sons and daughters.
You can't kill old people.
Even husbands and wives. We cannot accept this violence one day more.
Right.
Can't do it. And we're not going to do it. Because of you, we're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to allow it to happen. And we're backing you up 100%. Remember that. 100%.
So this is President Trump, and he's promised to crack down on the gangs that are coming up from El Salvador. And it's kind of kill or be killed. You kind of have to join. But this is where I support Jeff Sessions, because he has been cracking down on MS-13. Now, here's the thing. This is the problem when you have sanctuary cities.
Right.
With sanctuary cities, if people get pulled over, a lot of these, obviously all of the MS-13 members are illegal immigrants of some sort. There was a guy who'd been deported yesterday. He just felt like, I was in the story, deported 20 times. And then he's in raping, killing, murdering, doing crazy stuff. Obviously we have some issues. Now, I mean, everybody wants the border wall, and I get it, but here's the thing. Trump just cracking down.
Right.
The illegal immigration has slowed immensely. They are hiding. Some people are going back to, to their countries of origin if they're here illegally. And I have heard from legal immigrants say, we don't want illegal immigrants here because those are most likely to be the crooks and the criminals and the gang members and the murderers and the rapists. If you're already willing to break one law, how many other laws are you going to break? So I wanted to take you to Tucker Carlson. It's kind of a lengthy segment, but let's go and let's see who is MS-13. They went down to El Salvador. Jeff Sessions last week was headed down to El Salvador to see what's going on, where these guys are coming from.
Because you have to have eyes on the ground. You can't just rely on what you're hearing.
And these aren't like even your typical like American gangs. I mean, like this is brutal. This is like really sick, twisted.
Is causing the problems with MS-13 in our week-long series Hunting MS-13. But the gang isn't just a problem in Central America. Unfortunately, hence our series, the Department of Justice estimates there are more than 10,000 MS-13 members in the U.S. across at least 40 states. Now, the Trump administration has made the eradication of the group a priority. Even as he was reshuffling the West Wing, President Trump was in Long Island today, where he spoke to law enforcement about the threat from MS-13 and other gangs. Watch.
Together we're going to resume MS-13 is let them die slowly, our people. We will find you.
Thank you for having me. So, I don't know if I'm mischaracterizing your position, but you seem to believe that there's something wrong with the president cracking down on MS-13, and I'm baffled by that.
Well, You know, what happened today was that 500 Long Islanders, immigrants and community allies alike, were standing up and saying they're united against the hate of this administration, and in particular, rejecting the use of a local tragedy to score political points in his broader anti-immigrant agenda. This is what we're seeing today and this week is the same thing that we've been seeing since day one of this administration, in which he called immigrants criminals and rapists and tried to paint with a broad brush all immigrants as criminals. And this vilification of immigrant communities is absolutely unacceptable.
Okay. But I think today, unless I missed something, the president was coming out against MS-13, which is a criminal gang, which has, as you know, turned El Salvador upside down. Talk to any Salvadoran, here or there. Everybody believes MS-13 is a massive problem, and the president is announcing a crackdown on that gang. Why is that bad?
So there are two things. First of all, we have to understand this in the context of vilifying and criminalizing all immigrants, which has been the agenda of this president since the first day of his campaign.
Not
this is
true.
about tearing apart immigrant families.
Okay,
if you want to
spare me the wait, stop. Look, I'm giving you a voice on this show. Sure. Spare me the dumb rhetoric and answer my question. What is wrong with going after, and just don't stop with the slogans. Honestly, what's wrong with going after MS-13?
These aren't slogans. These are hard data, Tucker. If you want to look at the #1 group in which we've seen increases in ICE arrests since Donald Trump has become the president, it is people with absolutely no record of interactions with the criminal justice system. What is happening right now is that the president would like to paint immigrants as criminals. The problem is that the data suggests, what the data suggests, Tucker, is that immigrants are much less likely to commit crimes than native-born Americans. What the president is trying to do...
Stop. I know you want to give your speech, but I'm asking you about MS-13. You don't like the administration's position on illegal immigration. I get it.
Tucker, what I'm saying is that this is a convenient example.
But there's also a reality. Stop. There's a reality at the bottom of this. Hold on. There's a reality, and I would think that you, as someone who claims to care about immigrants, would at least acknowledge the reality, which is that MS-13 preys upon immigrants. They're not going after me or you. They're almost entirely going after Salvadoran.
Recently, the traffickers brought over a bunch of immigrants in a truck, and they all died in the back of this truck. I mean, these are traffickers, these are rapists, these are criminals who are actually preying on the immigrants who die on their way.
I want to go back to what he had said as far as the data where the ICE is going after people with no criminal background. We have covered segments in the past
where all the data shows that they were going after criminals, hardened criminals.
Exactly, and they're not going after anybody that doesn't have.
Exactly. So you can come on here and you can lie, and then everybody has to fact check later.
Right.
Immigrants, a lot of them illegal, and extorting money from them, and in some cases killing them. It's happening in El Salvador, where we just came from today, and it's happening here. That's totally real. And so why is your position that it's bad to crack down on people who are tormenting immigrants? I'm totally confused.
I'm sorry that you're confused, Tucker. I'm happy to repeat myself if it's helpful. But I will tell you, no one is denying...
my question.
I'll answer you. No one is saying that there's not a public safety issue. There is a public safety issue, and I've worked in Brentwood, where the president went today for years, and talked and worked with immigrant families on a daily and weekly basis. But what we're saying is that if you really want to understand this public safety issue, just as if you want to understand it with other gangs, you have to understand decades of systematic neglect of these communities. You have to understand...
Where'd you go to college? Where'd you go to college?
I went to Amherst College.
Of course you did.
Where did you go,
Because
Tucker?
you're approaching this,
Where did you go, Tucker?
I can promise you. I went to Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut.
We played each other in sports. We went to very similar colleges.
Honestly, only someone who went to an overpriced college could reach a conclusion so theoretical that it's utterly divorced from reality. Look, you don't like Trump. I get it. That's fine. A lot of people don't. But immigrants in America are actually being terrorized by this group. So in this one moment, your interests intersect with those of the president. He wants to stop a group that's hurting people you claim to represent, but you won't acknowledge that.
Our interests absolutely are not aligned. What he wants to do is tear apart immigrant families. What we have seen is that...
What this guy is trying to say when he says tear apart immigrant families is that those immigrants who have family members in MS-13 will now lose their MS-13 gang member, family member. Yeah, that's right. That sounded redundant, but it wasn't. And they will be shipped back to El Salvador or their country of origin or whatever. And so this guy is saying that that's a bad thing because you don't want to, it's, the priority is don't break up the immigrant family even if it has an MS-13 member in it.
And even if he's not saying that particularly, what he's saying is when you crack down on immigrants, and on a wide and illegal, and see, he keeps saying immigrants, and it just throws people, and it really it's a psychological warfare because he's not using the word illegal immigrants, and he's not even using the undocumented worker, the politically correct. We aren't politically correct here. These are I lost my bandana. These are illegal people here.
Like
illegal
a workout skipper.
No, these people are here illegally. Okay. And so you're not going to have the same, what he's saying is that yes, they're here illegally, but we want the government to come into these communities to pay for housing, better
and
housing,
that's another thing that he was hitting on. I'm sure you all caught this, but for those of you that maybe didn't, he was saying he's blaming the gang problem on neglect from these communities. All right, now, in part, I will go a little bit with him, what we did down in...
You mean with NAFTA?
Yeah, with that really did unsettle, but I can guarantee you that MS-13 is probably older than what happened with NAFTA, and we did not neglect the people in El Salvador and in the MS-13 area where the gang, that's another country, dude, besides ours. So the propagation of this gang popping up here in the United States has nothing to do with the United States neglecting any community. This is a completely bogus claim.
He is absolutely focused on tearing mothers from their children. If you want, we can talk about
threat to immigrant families. Oh, hold on. Here's a really simple question. Who's a bigger threat to immigrant families? The president or MS-13?
The president. Without question. This is someone who is attacking, who is vilifying 12 million people in this country, trying to paint them with the brush of being criminals, despite all the data demonstrating otherwise, and vowing to separate their families, to separate children
there are a lot of data on this question, and we know for a fact that MS-13 members, it seems like the majority of them here illegally, again, are hurting immigrants. Now, you're making the case basically that if a drunk driver kills somebody, we shouldn't attack him because we'd be vilifying all drivers. That's insane. Why can't we just
That's exactly what this guy is saying.
You believe that the president...
And this is the same rhetoric that I've gotten a little bit on Facebook when I posted one where a Muslim family sold their daughter to a 4-year-old daughter into marriage, and another where the whole village punished a girl. She had to receive the punishment for her brother who raped a girl, so the brother's sister had to be raped in front of the entire village. Now, I posted that, and then some girl went off on Palestine, and some other girl went off on, yeah, but why do you even think Muslims do things because they're uneducated and we need to help them with education and all kinds of crazy weird stuff. So this is the circular logic.
I don't care how uneducated you are, how neglected you are, whatever happened to you and your community, and you didn't listen. Leah and I grew up in government housing. All right, we had like no money. We had roaches. We were beat up on the bus by other older kids. I mean, Leah and I, we lived it, and we turned out okay because my mom submitted to God, and Leah and I chose to do the same. Everybody has an individual choice. If you're going to, you may not have a choice to grow up and get out of being poor. That I can grant you. But you have a choice whether you're going to grow up and actually hurt and do damage to other people. All right, that's not,
there's... They say they're not educated because that's their education, to rape people.
Then they are educated.
They are educated.
Who has actually not killed anybody with a screwdriver.
It still makes them a dangerous person that has to be punished and kept away from society.
You're saying he's a bigger threat than MS-13? You really have to go to Amherst to reach a conclusion.
Tucker, if you want to understand the threat to immigrant communities, you have to understand the broader context here. There's no question that there's a public safety issue that affects immigrant communities, but you also need to understand that the age agency that he's seeking to empower is a rogue and out-of-control agency in which, in the last year, 10 immigrants have died in detention because of neglect and abuse from Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This is precisely the rogue agency
See,
that the
you gotta
president
fact check this guy on
back that
that.
up.
Right,
we are saying
exactly.
is we refuse and refute
They could have died from
vilification
a pre-existing
and
health
criminalization of
condition.
immigrant communities, and we're going to stand together. And what happened today, if you want to understand, if you want to
I bet they look at you in total confusion, like, who's this college kid telling us that we should put up with MS-13 because it's systemic racism or something? They're like, look, these people are taking money from us. They just killed 2 girls with screwdrivers. Like, maybe they should go to jail. But no, the guy from Amherst is like, really, you don't understand the power structure is oppressing you. They're like, they don't like MS-13.
Tucker,
Why would
we
they?
speak every day.
By the way, I cannot. You could just look at the evil inside this guy's eyes.
Oh,
favorite
yeah.
folks
So
in this
creepy.
community. We were out there. There were 500 of us in Brentwood. Have you been? I suspect you have not been to Brentwood. But what I tell you
I've never
is
been
if
to
you
Brentwood.
go there, and I'd encourage you to go talk to people, if you do, what you will hear from community members is they are working together to address these issues. If they don't,
What do they do?
They
What are they doing?
They want to handle it because they don't want any crackdowns on illegal.
Exactly.
We'll handle it. We'll handle it. We'll handle it.
No, first of all, I just came from El Salvador like an hour ago.
That's
A city a country that's been paralyzed by MS-13.
Yeah,
It's the highest
true.
murder rate in the world. It is true. And so I guess let me just ask you for some specifics, since you're Mr. Data Guy. What specifically are these 500 community members doing to fight against MS-13 that's more effective than what the president just
Well, I'll share with you, for instance, our organization, Make the Road New York, is working with young people for summer programs to ensure that they have access to opportunities, summer jobs, and ultimately partnering with other gang prevention organizations who are working on Long Island every day to show young people a brighter future and also
I
to
think that's
advocate
great.
for
I'm not
greater
against that.
investment in our communities.
But
And
that
what I
doesn't
will tell
actually
you on the
crack
nature
down
of
on
investment-
it.
Whatever that means, but why can't
No,
we
no,
not?
whatever.
And I applaud you. No. Here, I'm applauding you. I'm saying, look, if you offer young people something to do during the summer, that's a virtuous act. But you can also acknowledge that there are bad people, criminals out there who are preying upon the weak, including your constituents, and you want to put them in jail and send them out of the country. Like, there's no reason we should have to deal with murderers who aren't even legal citizens. Like, get the hell out of this country. Is that a big thing to say? No.
I appreciate you applauding the work that we're doing. Part of the work that we're doing also with our community members, and the thing that we're hearing more, I just actually spoke with an immigrant parent in Brentwood today who said, we need more resources for our kids so they actually see and seize opportunities. One of the things that's happening in Washington right now, as the president is
This I got to explain to you. We need more money. Give us all of your monies. We need more
Government itself
money.
is a proof that if more money you throw in, it makes the problem worse. Public schools.
Our kids, we need more
Alright,
money.
the more money you throw.
We
the
can't
worse
get
it gets.
legally. We on the Medicaid. We on the food stamps. We got ourselves a department and everything. But we need more of your money.
I'm going to tell you something.
Dinero.
Whatever this guy's doing with his little community
Programos.
programs, okay? MS-13 is going to recruit young people regardless of whether those young people have the opportunity
To play
have a bright
basketball all summer.
future, okay, or to have jobs. Because why is a kid going to go get a job at the little 7-Eleven down the street making $7 an hour when he can go and work for MS-13 and bring home rolls and rolls of money and be a bigwig and be a high roller? It's not making any sense.
This is the whole thing with everybody saying that Muslims need more opportunity, they need more money, they need better education, and then they wouldn't blow people up. You guys, your mind has to go to a certain cray-cray place in order to join a gang that says our motto is kill, rape, and conquer.
Right.
Let's finish out this interview here.
is using this as a convenient example to justify an anti-immigrant agenda is that they're debating the federal budget. And what President Trump wants to
being
do
against
is invest,
MS-13,
what he wants
I
to
don't
do
know anything
is
about the
invest,
federal budget. I mean, that's silly.
what the president wants to do is
attacking
invest
MS-13
billions
is
of
attacking
dollars.
MS-13.
What he wants to do is invest billions of dollars in investing in thousands
that guy's
upon
face.
thousands of ICE agents and building a wall that people on both sides of the political aisle say is a senseless idea while cutting massively public education.
Okay, now I personally am claustrophobic, and I have seen that Trump's crackdown has
It's far more effective than
a wall. I don't want a wall. However, he ran on the promise of building that wall, and I gotta tell you, a lot of people who voted for him
want the wall.
And so you can say that you don't want it, and other people don't want it, but people who voted for him want it. That's like saying to Hillary Clinton, you know, people don't want free health care, because I just know people.
Patriot Gallery has.
I like to think we're all grown up, we're all smart, we're all intelligent. We're not born yesterday. We're not stupid. We have to wonder how much is the drug cartel or CIA or even Obama or Bush's or the Clintons paying this guy.
I know.
This guy's getting paid to propagandize for the drug. I mean, the war in Afghanistan is all about drugs. CIA is all about drugs. They're all about drugs.
I'll tell you one thing where the wall will be effective. The wall will be effective when it comes to running drugs.
Absolutely.
And so that is one of the reasons why they are so upset, and investing in more ICE agents is also going to help crack down on the running of drugs, which MS-13 is also huge.
Drugs, you guys, are such a billion-dollar, trillion-dollar industry here. Yeah.
I have to, and I know they don't, y'all progressives that are our wonderful viewers don't like it when I say this, but you're progressives, so I'm going to leave you here. The leftists don't want the drugs to stop coming in. Maybe your neighbor who is a leftist obviously does, but the people in power that are leftists, they don't. They have an agenda, and I'll even throw another bone at you. There are Republicans that also don't want the drugs to stop coming in.
Well, you know what? Let's finish this up because we're going to go to Afghanistan and talk about this.
Funding, affordable housing funding, environmental protection funding.
I just concluded that you don't actually know anything, and you're specializing in the kind of grotesque overstatement that political consultants engage in. This is not a serious conversation. And let me just end on this. I bet your constituents back in Brentwood, when you're not around, describe you as loco. I really do. I doubt they take you seriously. You're like making excuses for MS-13, which is tormenting them. I doubt they appreciate that. I haven't met them. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, you're wrong, actually. You know, we're a member-based organization. We work very closely with community members. If you want to discuss data with me anytime, I'm very happy to do it. I actually have a PhD in political science, and we could talk more about it. It's actually about Central American politics.
Where did you, very quick, where did you get that PhD? Just so I can make sure none of my kids go there. Oh, Oxford. Okay, good.
You don't want your kids to go to Oxford? You don't want...
Wow. Tucker really does not pull any punches. I don't know how he does it. Maybe he gets like high on those moments. Like I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. I appreciate that Tucker can call out the lies and the spin wherever he sees it. Okay. More kudos to him.
Stick with us. Please like, comment, and subscribe to MS-13 and Resistance Chicks.
Don't you know we're going to throw the gang signs up in your face? Even though I don't know what the MS... No, that's not even an S. 13... Okay. Alright, you guys. We love you guys. God bless. Come back in a bit because we have more, like Leah said, we're going to go to Afghanistan.
Hasta luego. Mi amigos and mi amigas. We see you later.
Hasta la vista. Resistance Chicks viewers.
I was cold all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid. But you called my name.